Welcome. My name is Tolu. I'm a Christian dating coach, and I show women of faith like yourself exactly how to attract their husbands. And I'm going to be walking you guys through changes you need to make to start attracting men you can marry, because we're done with dating men that cannot provide you with the level of security, provision, protection you desire. We're not doing men that do not want to pursue you intentionally. That is not happening this year. And the best way for me to help you with this is my one-on-one program, Dating to Marry, where I show women that have gone through toxic dating cycles, heartbreak, exhausted and exasperated with the dating scene, exactly how to change the way you date to start attracting your husband. Okay, so if you want to work with me one-on-one in 2024 to make this happen, just click the link in my bio to apply. Click the link in my bio. So today I wanted to talk to you guys about dating after your last relationship failed. Okay, so doesn't matter if this was last year, today, yesterday, doesn't even matter if this was months back. The point is, all failed relationships have patterns. Just like before you do anything different, you need to know what you're doing wrong and what you're doing right by assessing what exactly is going on presently with that particular thing you want to change. With dating, you need to review your past patterns. That's the first thing you want to do. You want to review the way you're dating so far. Are you moving too quickly to commit? Are you taking too much time? Are you focusing on that man prematurely? Are you getting emotionally invested? Are you not involving God in that process? Are you getting too attached? Are you financially being basically his support system? What are you doing that has shown up in your past relationships? What patterns do you have? And those are just some examples. It could be anything. What patterns do you have? Patterns means it happens more than once. If it happens more than once, it is definitely not a coincidence and it is not a mistake. So what are your past patterns? What did your last relationship teach you? And when I say relationship, I'm using this term loosely. This qualifies for you if you've been in a prolonged talking stage with someone, you were previously married, you were in a situationship, whatever situation comes to mind where you were intimately involved with a potential partner, I'm talking to you. You need to look at your past patterns. Or maybe you're on the opposite end of the scale. You haven't been in a relationship before. You're struggling to look, you don't even know what to look for in a partner. I want you to review your habits. What are you doing that needs to shift? What are you not doing that you need to start doing? Are you finding it difficult to talk to men? Are you getting attached too easily? Because that can also happen in that situation. Are you shy? Do you need to come out of your shell some more? There are clues. There are always clues that you can find in your patterns that will show you where you need to pay attention. And I said this on one of my lives. Okay, wherever there is a gap is where you need to pay attention. If you're struggling to attract men that you find attractive, you need to pay attention to how you're attracting men. How exactly do you come into contact with men? What is the usual pattern for you to have conversations with men, talk to men? Patterns give so much insight. And you really want to pay attention to them. That is the fastest way to see a difference, by looking at what is in front of you. And what I do with my clients when we work one-on-one is we literally start by looking at their patterns. We dissect their patterns. It's not an exciting process, but I don't have a single client that has gone through that process of dissecting their dating habits, their dating patterns, that hasn't realized exactly what they're doing wrong, exactly where they need to make a shift, exactly what needs to change in the way they are interacting, talking, and coming into contact with men, and how they are committing to men. So your patterns could be anything from the way you're coming into contact with men, how do men come into your circle, to how you're communicating, having conversations with men, the consistency behind that, to the men that you're committing to, maybe the frequency at which you're committing to them. When I say frequency, I mean at what point do you make that commitment? Is it out of desperation? Is it out of desire? What is the driving force behind that commitment? Or is it a situation where you're moving too quickly or too slowly? You know, I've seen it all. So in all those situations, it has to do with your patterns. And that's where you need to make the necessary initial shift to start dating again after your last relationship failed. Notice I didn't say anything about taking a break. I do not subscribe to that I don't believe in it. You don't need a break. What you need is a difference. You cannot get a difference by taking time out. It's kind of like leaving an untidy space and somehow magically expecting it to get tidy by the time you come back. No, it's going to be more disorganized. You're going to be more confused. And drop in the comments if you can think of an instance in your life where you took a break and you came back to the same nonsense. Okay, you took a break from dating. You came back to meet the same men that you were attracting before. You took a break from commitment. You came back to meet the exact same issue in a different man. Taking a break doesn't solve anything. It's just you stepping aside. So you need to face the situation by reviewing your past patterns. And this is why literally the first thing I do with my clients one-on-one is we look at your patterns. You know, we go into the nitty gritty of how you're dating. What exactly is it you're doing when you're coming into contact with men? What is it? What does it look like for you to make a commitment? How are you having conversations and connecting with these men? That's the first half of the Dating to Marry program. Because if you do not address what you're doing, you're not going to get a different result. And just by making that simple shift, my clients have literally seen a transformation in the quality of men they're connecting with, the quality of dates they're going on, the level of interest that men are showing to them in you know, pursuing them intentionally. So please start by reviewing your past patterns. And if you want to work with me one-on-one, it's really simple. You just click the link in my bio. You will see a link that says work with me. Just click there and you can apply. And once you apply, I'll review your application and I'll tell you the next best step for you to take. Very simple. Just the link in my bio. Just click it and apply to work with me on one-on-one in Dating to Marry. Secondly, dating after your last relationship failed, right? You need to learn how to date without getting triggered. Okay, now I've been having conversations with a lot of you in the DMs. I've been talking to you on sales calls when you apply to work with me one-on-one. I've been reviewing your applications, and I've just been engaging with you to know that there's this issue that you have where you're dating out of your trauma. What does this look like? You're dating from a place of hurt. You're dating from a place of doubt. You're dating from a place of fear. And we're going to go into that in a second. But I really want to focus on dating with trauma. So what this looks like is maybe you were previously married. You're still dealing with, you're still dealing with an identity crisis, basically. Trying to get over why that marriage didn't work. Trying to reconcile who you are before, during, and after the marriage. Maybe you're in a position where you're a single mother, you're struggling with your identity as a woman, you're trying to separate that from being a mother to your child or your children, as the case may be. Maybe you were in a relationship that was for a long time, a year, 2 years, 3 years, didn't end in marriage. Maybe you're dealing with a partner that was previously loving and now is not willing to commit, he's ghosting, he's dealing with some psychological issues according to him, or he's just not ready to take the next step. And you now use that identity to show up in the dating scene. What do you think is going to happen? You're going to be attracting men on that level. You're going to be what that looks like is you're going to be attracting men that don't want to commit. You're going to be attracting men that do have issues that they need to deal with. You're going to be attracting men that do not want to connect with you on a substantial basis. You're going to be attracting men that do not want to pursue you intentionally. Men that always make excuses because you're dating out of your trauma. Okay, you're dating out of your fear. You're dating out of being easily triggered. Any little thing is going to set you off. You're going to find and this is how it looks like. I'm going to give you examples. You're going to find yourself in a situation where you don't believe a word any man tells you. If he tells you that he's interested in you, you don't believe him. If he takes you on a date, you think he has an agenda. If he's trying to have a conversation with you, you don't believe a word he's saying. If he's trying to talk to you about, potentially taking a step further, you have doubts. You always need more time. You're constantly questioning every single step he takes. You're constantly questioning if this is the right person for you. You're going round in that circles with different men. It is because you are dating out of your trauma. You're dating out of your past relationship hurt. You're dating out of a previous relationship failure. Your heartbreak is literally hovering over how you meet men. Okay, so anytime you come into contact with men, anytime you have conversations with men, you are immediately moving into your traumatic response. You're getting easily triggered. No, he's lying. No, I can't take him seriously. No, this man isn't genuinely interested. No, he just wants to sleep with me. Why is that happening? Because that's what you've previously experienced with a partner. That's what you've previously experienced with men in the past. That is what you've previously experienced in your last relationship. That is how you know you're dating out of trauma and you're responding to triggers. And when I say triggers, I mean something that sets it off. It could be a word he says. It could be the fact that he didn't call when he said he was going to call. It could be something he mentions on a date. It could be anything, but it's a trigger for you. And the trigger is responding to that trauma that is navigating the way you're moving through the dating scene. When you date like this, you're not going to attract quality men. You're not going to have quality interactions with men. And what happens as a result is you start dating out of anxiety, okay? So what this looks like is you're afraid to commit. You find an excuse, okay? It could be, I need more time to pray. You could find a spiritual excuse. It could be, I'm not seeing enough. I'm not trusting this person enough to take the step forward. And commitment here, I'm not just talking about committing to a relationship. I'm talking to something as simple as committing to going on dates, committing to even having the conversation around, being exclusive. You struggle with that because your anxiety is taking a step forward. And what happens is if you're dating based on your anxiety, you're not going to be a desirable partner. Can you imagine trying to navigate getting to know someone that is constantly questioning your every move? Always in doubt of what you say, how you say it, is always getting easily triggered and angry by any single comment you make. Can you imagine trying to get to know that kind of person? It is very stressful and exhausting. So now imagine what it looks like from a male perspective as a woman when you keep showing up like that. It is not going to attract quality interactions in men. It is not going to make you seem like a substantial partner. It is not going to make you attractive as a potential long-term commitment. It is not going to do any of those things. It is going to literally do the opposite. And the way to address this isn't to get your defenses up, because a lot of you do this in dating. I don't want a man to waste me. You start throwing all these words. You start word vomiting. I don't want to, you start telling this man, I don't want anyone to waste my time. If you're not ready to commit, don't waste my time. You start shutting men down, blocking them left, right, and center. That doesn't solve anything, sis. As I'm sure you have discovered. That does not solve anything. That is just you having a traumatic response based on your past dating experience, and it is you presently dating out of anxiety. And what you want to start doing is dating out of your desirability. So what I do with my clients when we work together one-on-one is basically we clean up the way they date, and that's what I'm explaining here. A lot of you are dating in a very dirty, stifling fashion, and that looks like trauma, triggers anxiety, fear, doubt. That is basically your dating process is polluted. So what happens when I work with clients one-on-one is we clean up that space. Okay, we clean and clear it up so that they can come forward in their desirable energy as a potential partner. And what this looks like is you're clear, you're confident about the qualities that you desire in a prospective partner. You're communicating with men at that level and on that scale. Your femininity has room to freely express itself without fear of being rejected or being taken advantage of. You are easily able to navigate men that want to pursue you because they're definitely and they're genuinely interested in getting to know you for a potential commitment. You can navigate that space because you're dating out of the fact that you know you're a desirable woman. And I walk my clients through this process by cleaning up their dating patterns so that it's easier and simpler for them to position themselves in a way where they can have those quality interactions with men. They can have those quality conversations and substantial connections with men in a way that leads them into a healthy relationship. It is not going to be possible to commit and to connect with men on a substantial scale if you keep dating out of toxic patterns. The two do not correlate. They don't align. Okay? It's like going to a luxury store, expecting them to give you a product, a bag, whatever, piece of clothing for free. It doesn't make sense. Make it make sense. You need to be dating out of a clean space. You need to be dating out of your femininity, knowing that you're a desirable woman, to attract and connect with men that do desire substantial commitment, that do desire to pursue you intentionally for marriage, that do desire to take you out and do desire to meet and match the standards that you require in a partner. You need to be positioned for that to happen. It can't happen without you being positioned. It's kind of like going to the grocery store expecting to get on a flight. You're in the wrong location. It's not going to happen, no matter how big of a tantrum you throw. And this is what I mean by positioning. And the process that I walk my clients through is learning how to clean up their patterns so that they can position themselves in a way that makes it easy for them to attract men. And how do you know you're not positioned when you're not attracting men in a quality way? That's a surefire sign. When you're attracting men that always want to take advantage of you, when you attract men that lead you down this path of no commitment for years and years, when you find yourself attracting men that do not want to have substantial conversations with you, that's how you know you're not positioned. It's a very simple audit that you can just do by looking at the quality of men you're attracting. When you find yourself constantly questioning your motives, when you find yourself settling for men that you do not find desirable, when you find yourself in a situation where you're always in a situationship, you're always trying to navigate the next step because you're talking to, I don't know, John, and John doesn't want to move forward or move backward. John is not telling you what direction he's facing. When you keep interacting with that kind of man, you're not positioned. So what needs to happen is you need to go back and reframe the way that you're approaching the dating scene. And that's why that's the first step that I take with clients when we work one-on-one. We need to reframe the way you're looking at dating. We need to clean up your dating process. We need to, clear up the way that you are interacting and coming into contact with men so that you are positioned. And it's easier for you, literally why, my clients are able to connect with men in a quality way within weeks of working together, just by cleaning up their dating process. It changes, it literally transforms the way men perceive you. It shouldn't be a question of, let me just engage with this man because he's taking me seriously. That should be a consistent experience. You should always be interacting with men that do see your value, that do desire to be in your presence. That should be a constant experience. It shouldn't be a one-off experience. It should be a recurring experience. Men should constantly want to be around you because they see value from just being in your space. They enjoy interactions with you. It shouldn't just be if he's looking to get into a relationship. It shouldn't just be if he's interested in being your boyfriend or whatever. It should be a constant experience with every man that you come across. And this is something that I know because it's something I experienced, something my clients experience. I'm not saying this in theory. I don't believe in theory. I believe in practical approaches to things. So if you're seeing this as, and part of the reason why this is difficult for you to experience is because the way you're showing up in the dating scene is not in alignment with that kind of experience. You can't show up for an interview, I like giving this example, for an interview at a top company looking raggedy and confused. You're not going to get that job. They don't need to talk to you. It doesn't matter what's in your head. Nobody cares. Fact is, you do not look like somebody that aligns with the cultural values of that organization. Same way with dating. Okay, the thing is, a lot of you focus too much on the physical. There's not enough work done in the way you're emotionally showing up in the dating space. And what happens as a result is, but that is literally why you're attracting the quality of men you're currently attracting, because your emotional dating space is a mess. Okay, you're dating out of fear, you're still angry with your ex, you're full of resentment, you're full of regret. There's a fear that you're getting older and you're not meeting the quality of men that you want. There's an anxiety, there's a pressure around you settling down that is seeping into the way that you're interacting with men. And what happens as a result is you're not dating with the confidence that you're a desirable woman. Okay, you're dating out of the doubt and fear and guilt you feel from your last relationship, your last marriage, from being a single mother, from having a relationship that failed after putting your all and everything into it. And this is so important to clean up so that when you get into the dating space and you start engaging and interacting with men, you are not going to repeat the same mistake. So the reason why, you are seeing your ex in the men that you're currently dating is because you haven't changed the way you date. The reason why you still keep experiencing the same issues is because you haven't changed the way you date. And what I do with my clients is we clean up that process so that you can start experiencing dating differently. You should be having a consistent experience of quality interactions with men that desire your time, that desire your attention, men that are ready to pursue you with intention, that respect you as a woman, that respect the substance and desirability and the value that you're bringing to the table. That should be a consistent experience, whether he's going to be your boyfriend, your husband, a friend, a stranger, it shouldn't matter. That should be a consistent experience for you. And that's why, once I show my clients how to clean up their patterns and they're properly positioned, they get to choose. And I genuinely mean this, you get to choose your husband. God is a God of abundance. He does not operate in scarcity on any scale, on any level. You get to choose your partner. He will give you quality options, but you don't know if you have options because you're not in a position to even see them in the first place. So how I get my clients to that point where they literally get to choose the man that they do commit to, where they are literally engaging with men consistently on a quality scale, is by cleaning up the way they date, basically clearing up their patterns so that they can position themselves and be presented with quality options in men. It's really that simple. I'm going to give you an analogy of this. I'm going to use the job market. If you want a senior position in a company, you have to have a certain level of experience, a certain level of confidence around how you navigate communicating that experience to potential employers. And just following that process will put you and you look into your network. There are so many things you can do here. Look into your network. You're strategic about how you position yourself so that you have options in the companies that want to hire you. It shouldn't be one and only. You should have options. You should have like 2, 3, 4 options in the quality of opportunities that you have available to you once you have done that self-work. It doesn't magically just drop in your lap. That isn't something that happens every day. There's a level of work that you need to have done for that to happen. Same thing with dating. To start getting quality interactions with men, consistent interactions with men that desire a quality commitment, that want to, commit to you on that skill that you desire, not just by word, but by deed, you need to start dating out of your desirability. It's a very key factor to see the shift in the way that you engage with men. Now, another thing that you want to be doing after your last relationship failed is you want to be going on dates with multiple men. Let me rephrase. I said go on dates with multiple men. I didn't say be in a relationship and be dating other people, because that's cheating, obviously. I said go on dates with multiple men. You want to explore your options. Okay, when I say options, I'm talking about the fact that you can choose. A lot of you struggle with understanding what that looks like, and it's because you've always dated out of a scarcity mindset. You've always dated from a space of you're not enough, or you have to settle, or you have to compromise. You've not really learned how to navigate the space of abundance, where you can only go on dates with multiple men in a quality way when you know that you are when you know you're a woman of value. Okay, when you know that you are desirable. So you know that you always have options. Even if there's no man standing in front of you, you know that you have options. That is a completely different energy. It's a completely different confidence that you're showing up with when you date with that level of confidence and that level of conviction. And when you go on dates with multiple men, the whole purpose of dates, like I said, dates are together to gather data, and they are to practice discernment. Anything in between is just your feelings. It's just your feelings. And your feelings, the reason why you're experiencing like a standstill, a blockage in the dating process is your feelings are navigating the way you date. That's not what should be happening. You should be dating to gather data, and you should be dating with discernment. So what that looks like is, you're going on dates, you're talking to the Lord about this. And what I show my dating to marry clients how to do is to really navigate that spiritual connection that they have with the Lord. Really understand the relationship they have with him in a way that translates into how they are hearing from him as they are dating. Like I said, to connect with the Lord, I broke it down in the last live. The Holy Spirit just dropped it. I literally took notes for it because it was so good. I'm going to share it with my clients. The first step is you hear. And then when you hear, you receive. And then when you receive, you're able to listen, and obedience just becomes natural. It's kind of like just getting dressed. Of course, when you get dressed, it's easier to go out. It's the same thing. So a lot of you are just, obedience looks hard because you are moving too far ahead. Just focus on hearing for now. Okay, what am I hearing? What is the Lord saying? Like, what am I hearing? Work on how you hear from him. Then it will be easier for you to know what to receive. Okay, the scripture that comes to mind is when Elijah was at the mountain. And he heard the earthquake, the wind, the fire, but he knew it wasn't the Lord. And then he heard a low, gentle whisper, and he knew, okay, that's my Father. That's where you need to focus, your hearing, okay? Then when you hear, you know what to receive. And when you receive, it's easier for you to listen. Then obedience just becomes natural. It's kind of like if you wake up, get dressed, it just becomes easier to go out, right? So what I show my clients how to do through the dating to marry process is what I just explained to you, how to hear, how to receive, really how to discern through the dating process, how the Lord is speaking to them so that it's easier for them to listen and obey. And this has translated in them being able to know what their partner looks like, even before they've met them. I've had clients that are able to perfectly describe exactly how their partner looks like, their husband looks like, before they step into dating him and committing to him and eventually getting married to him, because you have that knowledge. Okay, you're a spirit being having a human experience, so you have that. Your spirit man always knows a lot more than your physical man does. It's just about tapping into that space within you through the help of the Holy Spirit. And when you're dating, how this translates is with discernment. Okay, and I walk my clients through this process so that it's easier, it's simple for them to know how to discern. And you're gathering data. So the two together will give you a very clear picture of the right direction you should face. The problem is you're not doing any of this. You're dating with your feelings. So of course you're getting confused. Of course you're emotional. Of course you feel conflicted, because that's what feelings will do. Because, feelings are never meant to lead you. They're not meant to lead you. They can be a factor in your decision, but they shouldn't be the conclusive factor when it comes to the dating process. And that's what you need to change. So when you're going on dates with multiple men, that is how you should be experiencing that. That is how this should be coming up. So that it's easier for you to navigate and to have quality connections and conversations with men and to not be getting attached. That's why you're getting attached, because you're leading with your feelings. When I walk my clients through this process, it becomes very crystal clear to them. Oh, that's why I'm getting attached. That's why I'm getting emotionally invested. That's why I'm kind of blinded by my feelings and I can't read the writing on the wall. That's why I'm refusing to hear what the Lord is telling me. That's why I'm struggling. Because once we reframe, again, that word, reframe, the way you approach the dating scene, it's going to change the way you interact and connect with men. So when I say go on dates with multiple men, it is within that environment that I'm talking about. If you're doing it with all up in your feelings, confused, desperate, do not expect a quality outcome. It won't happen. So when you're going on dates with multiple men, I'm talking about the quality of the men that you're going on dates with, because I firmly believe, and I've walked my clients through this process, that you will have multiple options of men that you're going on dates with. You will have multiple, and multiple is just more than one. Okay, I'm not talking about having 50 or 40. I'm not talking about an exorbitant amount. I'm saying multiple in alignment with the marriage that you're manifesting, so to speak. Okay, there is a number attached to the marriage that God has called you to. When I say a number, there are options that God has given you to choose from to navigate into the marriage that He has called you to. He wouldn't give you many, He wouldn't give you little, but He will give you multiple, and you get to choose. So navigating that space really requires discernment and using the data that you gather as you date, right? And that's what, that's the process that I walk my clients through in the Dating to Marry program. Now, you need to also enjoy being pursued. Enjoy the process. Stop questioning why that guy wants to take you out. Stop questioning if he likes you, if he doesn't like you. It's because you're too old. Why that? See, when you have those responses of, I don't know if he's wasting my time, I don't know if, he's lying to me. You're dating out of your trauma. You're dating probably based on some past information that you have based on a previous partner or a previous dating experience, or something that you have seen in your friendship or familial space. You're definitely not dating in your present. You're dating out of fear and anxiety, not out of your desirability. Because if you are dating out of desirability, it will make sense to you that you will be pursued. Who doesn't want something that is good? Everyone wants something good. So if you know that you're a woman of value, if you know that you're a woman that is desirable, it makes sense that you'll be pursued. It's just common sense. If something is good and desirable and valuable, of course a lot of people are going to want it. So you need to just step into that space of enjoying being pursued. Okay? Enjoy men wanting to take you out. Enjoy them wanting your time, wanting to have access to you, wanting you to be available to them. Enjoy the process of being pursued. A lot of you get stressed by it. You're stressed by it because you don't trust it. You can't lean into it. And it's based, again, on your past patterns. You see why I said patterns are so important? Because they always come out. They always show up when you're dating. They just kind of bump out of nowhere, which is why you need to deal with it first. And that's why that's the first place. I'm always so excited to work with my clients on their patterns, because so much comes out. Literally, a lot comes out through that process that they start experiencing dating differently because they've cleaned up their patterns. The reason, if you're not enjoying being pursued, it's because, again, you're working on a previous setting. Let me put it like that. A previous setting. Okay? You're getting defensive. You're afraid that this person isn't going to take you seriously. You don't believe you're desirable. You don't believe you're attractive. You're not comfortable being in your feminine energy. you're too comfortable being in control, you don't know how to follow, you only know how to lead. That is what is getting in the way. So you need to start enjoying being pursued. And then the final thing I will say is, after your last relationship failed, you really want to practice the art of positioning. I want you to ask yourself, okay, where did I get this wrong? Like, what did I do to attract this kind of partner? What do I need to shift? Okay, you need to really, and I do this with my clients through the dating to marry process, because it's really important to know how you attracted what you have attracted. Like, how did that show up at your front door? How did you get your address? Like, what did you do? It's really important to get clarity on that so that you don't repeat that same mistake with another man, basically, right? So I call it practicing the art of positioning. And the reason this is so important is, if you're not positioned, and when I say positioning, I basically just mean if you're not in a space where you're attracting quality interactions with men consistently. Okay, if you're not seeing the men, you're not constantly engaging with men that want to treat you on a quality scale, you're finding it difficult to attract men that you do desire. You're really finding it difficult to navigate the dating scene when it comes to interacting with men in a quality way. You struggle with how you are perceived. Spiritually, you feel unbalanced. Emotionally, you're not sure of yourself. Physically, you question your attractiveness. There's work that needs to be done on your positioning. That's actually the main issue. I guarantee that even if you met the man of your dreams tomorrow, you would have the same problem. You may not even be able to recognize him, because positioning is really important. If you are not positioned in a way to perceive what this looks like, you are going to attract a man that isn't in a position to provide the level of protection that you desire in a partner. They are connected. Okay, so I'm going to go over what I've just said. Dating after your last relationship failed does require you to approach dating differently. You review your past patterns. You want to learn how to date without your trauma and your triggers. You want to learn to date from a space of knowing you're desirable, dating out of your desirability as a potential partner, and then go on dates with multiple men, multiple quality men. Enjoy the process of being pursued, being desired. Practice the art of positioning, learning to be consistently resting in your femininity. And that's pretty much it, right? And if you want me to walk you through how you can change the way you date so that you can attract your husband in 2024, it's very simple. You can apply to work with me by booking a sales call in my bio. It's just a link in my bio. You see a link that says work with me. Just click there, book a sales call, and I will go through your form and tell you exactly what you need to start doing differently. Okay, so this was fun, guys. Make sure you like and save this video and share with a sister friend. I will see you next time, and I look forward to reviewing your application to the Dating to Marry program and working with you to attract your husband in 2024. Bye.